Batgirl and the Birds of Prey number 11, written by Julian Shauna Benson, art by Rose Antonio. Just me reading this one. So this is the start of a new arc. We're getting to the core of this new Oracle dude. Basically, Batgirl's not an idiot. She's actually been monitoring him. She's like rigged these like cameras and been sort of monitoring his computer activity, and realizes that he's been speaking to someone, that he might be trying to turn on them and that kind of thing. And it turns out he's got a bit of a sob story where he ended up having to work for a villain because of money troubles and his mother, and because he's quite good at what he does, he ended up getting hired by the Calculator, who basically said, if you do not work for me, I will frame you for half of my crimes and you will spend your life in prison. So he's kind of doing it against his will, and it turns out the medication he was taking, because they bring that up thinking he's maybe just like some sort of junkie, he's been high. It turns out he was taking medication because he's bipolar.
Okay.
And it helps him keep that in check, kind of thing. So if I have a complaint about this issue, it's that when he says he's bipolar, given how suspicious, because the issue actually opens in a really fun way. It opens with a Canary and Huntress hanging him upside down out of the clock tower, and he's like, "You're here."
That's how you get information from people.
Yeah, he's like, "Yeah, you guys don't kill," and then Barbara, who's standing off to the side, goes, "Yeah, I don't kill. That's why they two are holding you out." It was just fun stuff. But if I have a complaint, it's when he mentions he's bipolar, which I like. I like that they're bringing a real illness into this, and it's actually like a sympathetic thing that he's got a real condition. It wasn't because I think everyone assumed who was reading this when he started popping pills. Oh, he's got some sort of problem. He's addicted to something, because that's where your mind goes in these type of scenarios. But no, it turns out no, he's got an illness and he's dealing with it. But because of how suspicious they were of him, of being up to stuff throughout the rest of the issue, they immediately just sort of turned to sympathetic and immediately kind of trust him a little bit more. And I felt like, no, wouldn't you check or something? I don't know. It felt like it turned too easily.
It doesn't excuse what he's done necessarily, because like I say, he's taking pills to keep it in check, and if you're suspicious, you don't drop all of them just because of that. You go, okay, but there could be something else still.
Because the point that it brings up, because the reason why he's been getting them from Calculator is that they're not prescription, because they mentioned, but this is just a blank bottle. There's nothing here. What are these? And it's because Calculator's getting them for him. They're not going through the usual channels. He gets his medication from him.
Is there a reason why you can't go through the usual channels?
I can't afford it.
Right.
I think was the gist of it, but yeah, basically because he did make a lot of money from working with Calculator, but he felt so guilty about everything that he was doing that he had been giving it all to charity. He was giving all of his money away, kind of thing. And basically he tells this story, basically Calculator is determined for them to meet, and he explains that he wants me to introduce you to him, but he thinks something's up because he's become quite like frantic, like he really needs this meeting to happen, to the point where he's threatening them a lot more than he usually does. And they go to the Calculator, and it turns out the Calculator doesn't actually want to do anything bad to them. He wants their help, because someone is after them. This company that he helped rip off is after them, because he basically hacked into this company. He sold the information to someone who wanted to steal something, and we get this cool scene where someone who we don't see, they're just in silhouette the whole time through this entire like heist. But we see someone, as he's explaining what happened, we see this heist happening of someone stealing these jewels from a vault in this building. And he explains that the hack was traced back to him, so they're threatening him, and he needs the help of the Birds of Prey. And they're like, okay, we're willing, because they kidnap his family. That was what they've got at stake. So Huntress is basically, look, I don't like him either, but there's actually like an innocent wife and like child at risk here, so we should step in and do something. So they basically agree, and then we find out they're like, okay, so who was the the person who hired you, who broke in and stole stuff, and the cliffhanger is that it was Catwoman. So we got some Catwoman action coming to Birds of Prey, which is pretty fun. I enjoyed this issue quite a bit. I do think the way they completely changed their minds immediately with New Oracle was a bit quick for my taste. It just felt a little bit unnatural. But as normal, it was the interaction, them like dangling them off the roof. There was some fun stuff to be had. It was maybe just a little bit too much of the issue was the New Oracle explaining his backstory. So it was a lot of his flashback for the middle of the issue, Once we got to Calculator, though, that was quite fun because it's kind of a C-list villain, which is kind of perfect for Birds of Prey. To maybe kind of elevate some of those type of villains up a little bit more.
Well, he's always been a good foil for Barbara too, because when she was Oracle, that's what he went from being like the Z grade villain to being the Oracle of crime because of her.
Well, that's actually how he found New Oracle. Is that basically he was obsessed with her, and when he saw someone was using the name, he tracked him down, and like then that's when he started blackmailing him and doing all this stuff. So that's the thing that's going on. But no, it's fine. I'm glad they're bringing Calculator into it, and I'm excited for Catwoman to be involved. But also some fun stuff when Batgirl was talking to him, because she was the one sort of down in the alleyway, like sort of talking to him. You could hear like Canary and Huntress bickering over the comms about what to do, which was kind of amusing.
Nice.
But no, it was fun. Art's been pretty consistent with the last several issues, which is to say, pretty decent, enjoyable. And I think what this book sort of, and probably why you guys dropped it, is I think it is never exceptional. It's just kind of a solid, kind of fun romp. Like, it never feels like it's doing anything important. It's just a good time.
But it still sounds fun. It sounds like a cohesive story.
Oh yeah.
I'm following it just by you saying, what had happened. So.
I mean, it's building its new characters up a little bit, and it feels like cause especially since the writers are TV writers originally. I think they're getting a little bit more used to how to write a comic book as they go. They're easing into it just a little bit more as time goes on.
Makes sense.
It does, because I think part of the thing is the dialogue's good, but it does feel very like it doesn't flow as well as a comic book, and I feel like that's something they're maybe learning more as they go, because they're so used to writing it for the screen. It has been a case of easing into it as the series has been on.